seeing a counsellor. We could try and make it work.
I want to fix him, you know.
I know, but there are some people you just can't.
Hello and welcome to the Screen One interview. And today I am joined by the star of the film herself, Clare Dunne. Hello, Claire. Welcome to the Screen One interview. Absolutely fantastic to have you with us today.
Thanks a million, Matt. It's lovely to speak to you.
Yeah. So herself, it came out, or it was made pre-pandemic, wasn't it? It came out. Well, I saw it in 2020. It finally got released in the cinema midway through the pandemic. How is it? Because you must have made it before that. So it's been a while.
Yeah, I made it we shot it, in 2019. So, and it would have been like early summer, April, May, actually, really. So it feels like, because, it does take a good, but it could take years to bloody edit, but we actually got it edited by the end of that year. And so that we were ready to go to Sundance in January of 2020. So, so it was I had a very hardcore contrast when the world closed down, because I felt like I was on this launching thing, but we went to Sundance and it was a beautiful few days and the people there really responded. And then we had a premiere in Dublin, and again, the reaction was fantastic and really, really like something you'd be dreaming of for your first time feature. And then it was just, by mid-March, everything just closed down. Now, originally the plan was actually everything was just going to release in the winter of 2020. So there was going to be a pause for a few months anyway.
Yeah.
But then, yourself, the old pandemic.
Yeah, half pause.
and pause your life for a year. But I was kind of, I suppose me and Phillida really thought about it quite philosophically in terms of the woman that Sandra herself, sorry if your listeners, Sandra is somebody going through domestic violence and chooses to leave the partner, which is the most dangerous point in a woman's life, actually, when they actually choose to leave. And then she's trying to empower herself through homelessness, and she tries to build a house for herself. But I always looked at this story as almost like not a message in a bottle, but I do feel like it's a bit of a message or a film that's got a lot of factual stuff in there and a lot of messages, not just for people to be aware of those people in the world, men and women that are behind doors going through something like this, but also for the people themselves that are going through something like this. I think it was just to try and touch on it somehow, but again, these things can be very triggering, so I wouldn't we weren't shoving the violence down people's faces. It was very much about her experience of it. So actually, when we were seeing the pandemic hit, this does have a point to this answer. She was saying, Phillida was kind of saying, actually, it's kind of crazy that it's going straight online on Amazon US, but a lot of people over there in Sundance were saying this film needs to be seen in the tough to get to areas. The areas where they don't have cinemas, it needs to be talked about and they need to have discussions after and stuff. So actually what happened was amazing, because it went online and there was a lot of viewing. We got really good ratings, but also Amazon were getting so much, they were getting so much inquiry about certain things in the movie that they created an information package about self-building and an information package about stepping out of domestic violence. So it's actually kind of like got an instruction manual online.
We don't get many of those.
Yeah, but it's but that's the nature of this film. So in a way it was okay, we're not getting the big touring around some premieres in USA, but at least the film is getting to the people that need to see it. So that was my way of comforting my ego, the poor woman that had been writing in coffee shops since 2014.
Kind of just got dumped out, but no, it has had a big impact. I mean, I was going to mention that the opening is pretty unflinching. But you don't dwell on it, do you? It sets up the film very nicely. And I mean, I've got to say, you put the film on thinking you're going to watch one thing, that starts, you're like, okay, we're not watching a nice fluffy kind of, we're off to build a house. Come on, it really is realistic. Realistic's the only word I can use. It is an amazing movie, though. People think, but it's no, stick with it, because the film will absolutely lift you up. And The ending is quite clever as well. I'm not going to ruin anything for people, but it's not what you're going to expect, because these types of films are going to go, all right, we know we're going to go here and we're going to go here, and it's nothing like that. But the journey is absolutely incredible. Absolutely.
I'm glad you're saying that, because I think a lot of people, what I found surprising was when I was in London, actually, just at a few chats, doing Q&As there back in September when it was coming out in the cinemas properly in 21. I had like 18-year-old men, I want to say, but boys really, like 18 and 17, asking me so many questions about the twists and turns in the story, and that they were really like, they were surprised. They just didn't expect it. And for me, standing there as, a mid-30s woman who's written this film about a woman's journey through domestic violence by a man, it was so amazing to have like young men going like, how did you do this? How did you get that? How did you find that twist and turn? And then I kept finding that in the Q&As, that actually a lot of people in the audience often identify with the other people in the story, like the children of Sandra, or the people that go to help her and stuff. There's far more than just that core woman. It's actually, the film is called Herself, but really it's about herself and the people who helped her, and everyone that's on their own journey with her. So I think when there's a community story or a tribal kind of story, you realize that there's all these strands that come through it. And I think that's why there's a bit more of a universal touch, even though it's a film that by its title, you think, oh, it's just a woman's film. It's really not. Like.
Yeah, those two young ladies who play your children in it were superb. They're absolutely superb. They were, and like I say, that the whole community, it's like a community built film. It's just fantastic to see. And hopefully we're going to be seeing more stuff like that from you in the future. Isn't it based on somebody you know's life experience, or Lucy?
Well, yeah, not her life experience. It was more that she had to, when Sandra goes to temporary accommodation at the start of the film, she goes into a hotel. So I have a friend that was like a really independent single mother, very young single mother, who'd had a tough start in her life and had done everything to get her children educated, get the jobs, get the little mixer jobs, get whatever to save money. She'd been moved from pillar to post at rentals, and then eventually the housing crisis was so bad in 2014 that there was nowhere to go. There was literally nowhere to go. And she had to fill in this form where you actually have to state, I am homeless. And if you're a person, like, it's already an experience anyway that's quite like, not shaming, but quite like, Jesus, I have to identify myself as homeless now. But when you've got 3 kids sitting there depending on you, like, I think she just felt very like a failure, when actually she was an absolute hero. She's the most amazing mother, working really hard. And she had told me over the years that there are people in society, and this is strange to me because I haven't experienced this, but they do turn their noses up at single mothers sometimes. I don't know if it's in England as much, but in Ireland, it's a certain kind of like, oh, well, she got herself in that situation. There's a slight kind of like, almost like slut shaming. Like, it's really weird. Like, and it's almost like, there was somebody else involved in this. They're just not there anymore. And so I just had all this rage basically in me on her behalf. And I was standing there in New York, and I wasn't getting anywhere with my auditions. And I was trying to, get into screen or get moving on forward with me acting and all. And then it was like, I was standing there going, hang on a minute, I'm not doing the right thing. And she is certainly not doing the right thing, or she's not in the right place. And it shouldn't be like this at all. And I started Googling self-building and other options for houses on behalf of her at first.
Wow.
Then it was just like, Jesus, there's a guy that's built a house for 25 grand down in Ytre. 25 grand. If they can design something for 25 grand, they could design something for at least maybe only 50 grand. And could make something that's just more affordable. So it's just my mind going like that. And then just as my head was hitting the pillow that night, after me and my friend had been on the phone early in the morning, I'd spent the day like raging and Googling. As my head hit the pillow, it was like, I saw the film as this, it just came, and I knew it was a feature film. I knew it was nothing else. That was the weirdest thing about it. And I hadn't written it. So I just knew, I was like, a woman decides to help herself by building her own house, and a community forms around her in order to start that new life. And I saw it like And it was just, I saw it in my mind, and I knew at the start she would have to be, in order to dare to do something so big during the worst housing crisis in Dublin, you would want to be very desperate. And I think she's so desperate after everything that she's been through with the ex-partner. So that's how it all kind of came about.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And I encourage everybody, get hold of herself. It comes out in the UK to buy and rent and everything on the 17th, which at the time of recording is Monday. So I really encourage that. Now, next, we're going to see you in Kin.
Promise me that whoever killed him will pay.
If you want me to do this with you, why do the shooting?
Have you any idea what's going to happen now?
Which was made by AMC, I believe, but it's coming out over here on the Sundance Now Channel, which is on Amazon Prime on the 24th of February. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because it's got an amazing cast, including you, obviously, led by you almost.
Yeah, no, it's a fabulous piece of writing. I mean, that was the initial thing, was that I went for the job because you get to read the script, and it is absolutely brilliant. So it's kind of it's set in Dublin, and it's a sort of a family drama, but they are involved in the world of drugs and crime, but it's a bit more like Sopranos rather than a real scattered, like, big thing. It's kind of, you really hone in on all the family members, and that kin is the word for family, obviously. So that's sort of how. But so my character is basically the mother, who is married in. So she's kind of not kin blood, if you know what I mean. So she's married into a character called Jimmy, and she has 2 sons, and she cares so much about them and just really wants them to have the choice to maybe not have that life, but maybe get educated and get out of that world. So although she's ended up roped in it, she kind of wants something different for her kids. But yeah, within the first episode, you see many, many shocks and twists and turns that eventually lead to Amanda sort of giving in and slightly becoming a bit more part of the family business. And I don't want to say more than that, because it's so worth it for the to watch live. Yeah. And she's a fabulous woman. It's another mother who loves her kids more than herself. So I do that one well, apparently.
It's not typecast yourself. So how did you do that one?
How did you come to be in that one? Was it just another script? It was thanks to herself, really, because I hadn't really, before herself, I'd only done a few tiny roles in a couple of short films, which were lovely, but I had much main roles in screen. So apparently there was this Kin series being made, and actually I'd say another few people were offered Amanda, and basically I got asked to do a self-tape for it, but then also my agent was like, I need to get a link to herself, etc. So apparently when they saw herself, they said, yes, we'll see Claire to tape for it. So I had to just tape for it and audition for it like other actors do.
Yeah.
And so it was just the normal process, but it was literally like winning the lotto when I got it, because I've never had a TV role before, and I was absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I mean, so far I've only seen the trailer, so I'm looking forward to seeing it when it comes out. So so no, well done on that. Again, well done on herself, and thank you very much for the interview today. It's been absolutely wonderful. So before we go, where are we going to see you after Kin? Have you got anything else coming up, or anything else you want to mention before we run away?
Witness number 3 on Channel 5. I think that'll be out in a few months' time. I'm not sure when it's going to be out, but that will be out soon as well.
Excellent. So again, thank you very much for your time. Everybody, get hold of herself. Get hold of the film herself.
Get hold of her.
Get hold of a copy. Check out Screen Mum for our review, which I put all in the bottom here. And follow Claire on social media and see where she goes next. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks a million, Matt. Cheers.
No worries.
You all know what he did to me, and yet you still bring me in here and you ask me questions like, why didn't you leave him? But you never ask, why didn't he stop?